I used to think fear was a warning, like my brain protecting me from danger. But the older I get, the more I realize most fear isn't about survival. It's about exposure. Fear shows up when you're about to be seen, when you're about to try, when you're about to risk being rejected, embarrassed, or wrong. That's why fear hits hardest right before the things you actually want. Not random moments. Right before you send the message. Right before you speak up. Right before you start something new. Right before you leave what's familiar. Fear isn't saying, this will kill you. It's saying, this might change you. And change is uncomfortable. I've noticed something about my own fear. It doesn't stop me from doing meaningless things. I'm not afraid to scroll. I'm not afraid to waste time. I'm not afraid to stay comfortable. Fear only shows up when the stakes are emotional, when something matters. That's how I know fear isn't the enemy. It's a signal that you're close to something real. But instead of listening to it properly, I let it run the show. I let it talk me out of things. It's not the right time. You're not ready yet. What if you fail? What if people judge you? And those thoughts sound reasonable. That's the problem. Fear doesn't scream. It negotiates. It gives you logical excuses to stay exactly where you are. And staying where you are feels safe. But safe doesn't mean fulfilled. I've noticed every major regret in my life has fear behind it. Not fear of dying, fear of trying, fear of being vulnerable, fear of putting myself out there, fear of finding out I'm not enough. So I stayed quiet. I waited. I overthought. And nothing terrible happened, but nothing good happened either. That's the part nobody talks about. Fear doesn't always ruin your life dramatically. Sometimes, it just keeps it small. You still function. You still survive. You just don't expand. And deep down, you feel that quiet frustration, that sense that you're capable of more, but you're not touching it. I've also realized fear is very specific. It doesn't block everything. It blocks the exact thing that would move your life forward. The conversation you need to have. The risk you need to take. The version of yourself you're avoiding. That's not a coincidence. Behind fear is growth. Behind fear is honesty. Behind fear is the life you imagine when you're alone with your thoughts. Not a perfect life. Not an easy one. A real one. The scary part is no one can cross that line for you. You don't get confidence first. You get it after. You don't stop being afraid and then act. You act scared. And that's the part I'm still learning. Fear doesn't go away because you understand it. It goes away when you stop obeying it. Right now, I'm starting to see fear less like a wall and more like a door. An uncomfortable one you hesitate to open. But usually the things I want most are sitting right behind it. And avoiding that door has cost me more than opening it ever could. The hardest thing about fear is that it doesn't feel irrational. If fear was loud and obvious, it'd be easy to ignore. But fear is quiet, calculated, convincing. It disguises itself as logic. It says things like, let's wait until you're more prepared. Now isn't the best time. You should think this through more. And thinking sounds responsible, so you listen. But weeks turn into months, months turn into years, and suddenly waiting feels normal. I've noticed fear loves comfort. Not comfort that feels good, comfort that feels familiar. Even if familiar makes you miserable. You'll stay in situations you hate because at least you know how they end. Fear prefers predictable pain over uncertain growth. That's why people stay in bad relationships, bad jobs, bad habits. Not because they like them, but because leaving means stepping into the unknown, and fear hates the unknown. I've also realized fear isn't about the outcome. It's about identity. It's the fear of finding out who you are if you try. What if you fail and confirm your worst thoughts? What if you succeed and outgrow people? What if your life actually changes and you can't go back? That's terrifying. So fear keeps you in almost. Almost trying. Almost changing. Almost living. Enough effort to feel busy, not enough to feel exposed. And the worst part is, fear rewards you in the short term. You feel relief when you avoid the thing. Your body relaxes. Your mind quiets down. That relief tricks you into thinking you made the right choice. But relief isn't peace. Relief fades. Regret sticks around. I think most anxiety isn't about danger. It's about unrealized potential. That feeling that you're capable of more, but you're not moving toward it. Fear keeps reminding you of that gap. And instead of crossing it, you numb it. Scroll, distract, overthink, stay busy. Anything except stepping forward. I'm starting to see fear differently now. Not as something to eliminate, but something to walk with. Fear doesn't disappear when you act, it follows you. But it loses power when it realizes it's not in charge. Every time I've done something despite fear, it's never been as bad as I imagined. Awkward? Yes. Uncomfortable? Definitely. World-ending? Never. The pain of action is sharp but short. The pain of avoidance is dull but endless. That's the trade. I'm still afraid most of the time, but I'm more afraid of staying the same. Because fear doesn't protect your future. It protects your current version. And sometimes, that version needs to be left behind. I don't think fear ever fully goes away. So instead of pretending it does, I think the real question is, what is fear stopping you from doing right now? Is it a conversation you keep replaying in your head but never actually have? Is it reaching out to someone because you don't want to feel rejected or stupid? Is it starting something you've been thinking about for years but keep telling yourself you're not ready? Or is it leaving something that you already know isn't good for you but feels safer than the unknown? I'm asking because fear doesn't show up randomly. It attaches itself to the things that matter, the things that could actually change your life. And most of the time, the cost of avoiding those things isn't obvious right away. It shows up later, as regret, as resentment, as the feeling that you missed your window. I'm not here to tell you to be fearless. I don't believe in that. I think courage is just acting while fear is still there. Letting your hands shake, letting your voice crack, letting things be messy, and trusting that you'll handle the outcome because you always have. So if you're watching this, I want to know, what's one thing fear has been talking you out of lately? And what do you think would actually happen if you did it anyway? You don't have to answer perfectly. You don't even have to share details. But think about it honestly. Because behind fear isn't a guarantee. It's a chance. And sometimes, that's everything.